Good morning. This is Florida Natural Farming at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and this is like the coldest day of the year. Morning. It's 35 degrees out here, or it was. It's probably warmed up a little bit now, but I just wanted to check my little plants and these rare aroids and make sure they're okay. They seem okay. What have I got new? I got this philodendron Pinnatolobum. It's beautiful, and I always look to see if there's like water forming on the leaves, because that's kind of important with these biologically driven rare tropical foliage plants. And it made me, really make me think for some reason, these aroids, because they're just so fascinating how they can grow outside of soil and in soil, and people are drawn to them as houseplants. So I guess I got this philodendron scherberichii cutting node, but it was like very big. And these leaves get like, they're similar to the Anthurium veitchii, the king Anthurium. So I was very excited to get that into my collection. Then one of my subscribers here in Vero Beach plants aroids on his mature tropical fruit trees, mangoes and jackfruit and starfruit and stuff. So I went over to his place, he lives right near here, gave me some really nice plants that I didn't have. Thank you very much, Scott Walker. And so that was good. And I'm waiting for some more plants to come in. Hopefully we won't get any more cold. And it didn't seem to affect anything. The only thing that seemed like it possibly could be affected is this Morocco begonia, but I see it has a tear in the leaf, so maybe that's why, because it looks a little, looks okay. Doesn't seem like anything was affected. This is like my favorite begonia, this silver-leafed one. It's just stunning. It doesn't seem affected. But I wanted to come out here and talk about how people grow methods, because we're a certified organic and certified biodynamic and certified real organic project certified. So I pay a lot of money and go through a lot of stress to have those certifications. They check, for pollutants, and you have to grow a certain way, and you have to know how to make compost, and you have to grow all your plants in compost. You can't like buy anything to grow your plants in. And it really makes you look at the soil and the health of the system, the whole system. So this biodynamic farm, and it kind of looks at the holistic approach to growing food. So rather than the other way of farming, which is an antagonist reducer, which is what the other forms of farming do. They reduce antagonists. This engages and promotes synergism amongst biology. So the plants and the fungi and the bacteria and the other organisms in the living organisms in the environment. So antagonist reducers are like synthetic fertilizers, or water-soluble fertilizers. because they don't encourage symbiosis, synergism with the biology in their ecosystem, so in their soil or in their environment. Or pesticides that are like, you know, they're and reduce the insect herbivores. So when it's cold like this, a lot of these tropical plants, and I know these rare aroids, they tell you that they can't grow below 60 degrees, and which is just not true. And if you have biology and a environment where your plant is growing, the plant has the ability to like control the temperature in its cell walls, in its leaf, by like 4 degrees. So all these studies that they do on these rare aroids for their temperatures that they can tolerate don't take into account the holistic grown plant. They do studies on control plants. So they also say that anthuriums can't take more than 90, some anthuriums like Coralum, not Coralumulans, but Cupulospathum maybe is what it is, anthurium. They start dropping leaves at more than 90 degrees. But if you have the biology in a healthy soil, they can probably cool the leaf off by 4 degrees. So usually the max it gets here is 90, 94. Every now and then we get a day that's like 95, 96, but very rarely. So hopefully our plants will be able to adapt and grow the anthuriums that it can't take high heat naturally here with the help of the microbes that work together with the plant in a healthy synergistic system, holistic system, a system that looks at the whole picture. So these houseplant people, they use all these chemicals and fungicides and pesticides and synthetic chemicals, and then they grow them in their house. And I just can't help but think that some of these chemicals are going to wind up in the air. They definitely wind up in the water. And that's how we've kind of destroyed Florida. The Rolinias, you know, I don't water these. These Rolinias are completely dry farmed, and they seem okay. Rolinia deliciosa biraba. Of course, I know that, you know, you don't know the effects of cold until a couple days later, but I can tell by looking at the trees and the color of the leaves. I've been through this enough to know what is going to get affected and what isn't. And I don't see anything that's going to get affected. We got so many mangoes on these trees, like little mangoes. You can definitely see them now. And they're not affected. The mangoes weren't affected by we had on trees last year at 31 degrees for 5 hours. and none of the fruit fell off. So I consider all of our problems that we've had here at Fog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, you know, even doing organic, holistic approach, a synergistic, encouraging approach to plant growth. We still have issues. I mean, we bought like trees that were grafted trees and started in nurseries with chemicals, so they come at a disadvantage. You really need to start your tropical fruit trees from seed, non-sterilized seed, and that way they will have the best chance to survive in a natural system. That's just what I've discovered. They do better in drought conditions. Applying water is an antagonist reducer. So you're reducing drought conditions that are going to probably keep your tree from forming relationships with fungi in the soil or greatly reduce it. Environment is an antagonist. So if you're changing the environmental conditions artificially, that's an antagonist reducer. So the Florida is so beautiful, and it's kind of the only place I've ever seen where they just like rip out all the beauty. Like this lot next door, it sold like 3 times in the last 2 years. Before that, it was owned by the same family for 50 years. And the first thing that the last person did that owned it for like 7 months was remove the oldest live oak tree and then cut down huge of the giant pine trees. Did they cut down another one? No, there's one more back there, I think. And I mean, those are like 100-plus-year-old trees, 200-year-old, so probably the oak tree. And then they pull out the stumps so that they don't have to get caught. Because it's against the law to do that here in Vero Beach. But everyone does it. Everyone in Florida, that's what they do. It's the only place I've ever been where they clear the whole entire lot when they start developing it. And it's really a shame. And as you can see, this second owner here, this is the third owner, so they decided to pull out one more oak tree and a few of those giant old palm trees. Anyway, I just wanted to get that on film. They drive all over it. It's sand and grass, silica and calcium carbonate, which is the substrate, the rock that it's the sand, but silica is in the grass, makes cement, pretty much. So when you drive on it, you're like completely destroying any chance of having a healthy soil microbiome. So yeah, they pull out all these gorgeous old palm trees. It's bizarre. The neighbor on the other side of us clear-cut 3 acres of gorgeous old forest and then drove all over it while he's driving his tractor, pulling the trees back and forth and removing the stumps, and nothing would grow in it. It just had standing water. He made cement out of his yard, basically. And so he dug up all his plants, his tropical fruit trees, and put them in giant, like 50-gallon plastic pots. After he did that, he decided he'd put black plastic down on the ground. This is over like 3 acres. And dig a ditch to run the water off. It's just... Florida is the easiest place I've ever been to grow organically. And it's due to the calcium carbonate soil. the water being pushed up from down below because it's on a huge aquifer that is pushing water up, which can go through calcium carbonate rock unless it's compacted. I don't know, just people are like so quick to destroy Florida, and it's just it's really a shame because it could be Eden. We can grow any tropical fruit tree in the world here, it seems, except for like durian and, you know, the ones I want. The ones I want that you can't grow here, of course, but in the hot places you can't grow the high-end mangoes, so it's a trade-off. We got some fruit. We still have some black sapote, and we got lots of bananas on our trees. And what else do I have? I have some star fruit that's ripening. Hi, bird people. What are you doing? I was looking at seeds because I haven't had to buy any, you know, tropical fruit trees in a while because I collected them before 2020, thank God. And I thought that I saw that achacha seeds were like $25 each, but it was a pack of 5 for $25. But that's crazy. But I got some fruit that I bought last year, some achacha. Our tree did produce 2 fruit, our first achacha tree. So this year, hopefully we'll get a lot more. These Aroid roots are just amazing. This is from an orchid. This orchid right here, a Vanda orchid. And so, but I threw the seeds here, and I'm trying to clean this up now that I know we're not going to sell it. So I want it to, you know, make it look better. So I've been planting calatheas and some other stuff in here. There's some Costa gingers, and this is a Brumansia. So I just wanted to get these, what everyone calls weeds, out from here and do a better job. But I threw a bunch of seeds out here right outside the door because the fruit was all rotten I bought. So they refunded my money for the fruit, and I got like 300 seeds. And I see all these little achachas are coming up that I missed. I'm sure we have at least 500 to 700 achacha trees at this point. I do see them coming up everywhere. I have to dig those up and plant them. The sugarloaf mangoes are, I see some on there. There's definitely a lot of coconut cream mangoes on this tree. Just want to kind of get a little video of what it's like at 35 degrees this year, because I did it last year. This time I see little mangoes. Yep. This is always a good sign when it's been really cold, to see lots of moisture dripping off the leaves rather than frost, because I do see some frost on that manure I put down. So there was some floating frost. It was cold here, but the trees seem to be quite fine. This is a sweet tart mango. This torch ginger has never been affected by freezing temperatures, which I'm sure is due to the biology in our system that we develop, encourage, and promote synergistic relationships with biology. Anyway, this is Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and it's a cold morning here. Hopefully that's the end of it. Have a good day.